pinholing and micropopping are two defects that look deceptively similar on the surface, but originate from fundamentally different physical mechanisms. In OEM paint shops, confusing these two leads to incorrect root cause analysis, unnecessary formulation changes, and repeated rework. From an RD&I standpoint, the ability to correctly differentiate pinholing from micropopping is a critical diagnostic skill because one is driven by continuous gas escape through the film, while the other is the remnant signature of violent solvent rupture. Visually, pinholing appears as extremely fine, uniform holes penetrating the coating film, often visible only under close inspection or magnification. The holes are usually round, clean-edged, and evenly distributed. Under a microscope, pinholes appear as straight-through channels extending from the surface down toward the substrate, with little or no crater lip. Micropopping, by contrast, presents as tiny crater-like defects with irregular edges, often surrounded by a slight raised rim. Under magnification, micropops show collapsed bubble structures or broken domes, indicating that internal pressure ruptured the film and then partially relaxed. The physical origin of pinholing is slow, continuous gas release through a semi-permeable film. This gas can originate from residual solvents, entrapped air, moisture vapor, or volatile byproducts generated during early curing. The key factor is that the film surface remains sufficiently open or elastic to allow gas to escape without catastrophic rupture. As gas migrates upward, it forms a stable channel that remains open through cure, resulting in a clean pinhole. This mechanism is commonly associated with excessive air entrapment during mixing, high spray turbulence, poor atomization, or substrates releasing gas during bake. Micropopping, on the other hand, is always a pressure relief failure. It occurs when internal vapor pressure builds faster than the surface can relax or flow. Once pressure exceeds surface strength, the film ruptures violently, forming a bubble that bursts and collapses. The resulting defect is not a channel, but a crater. This ties micropopping directly to solvent pop mechanisms, such as rapid skin formation, insufficient flash-off, excessive film build, or aggressive oven ramp profiles. Timing of defect appearance is a powerful diagnostic clue. Pinholing often becomes visible early in flash-off or gradually during bake, sometimes increasing in visibility after cure as the film tightens. Micropopping usually appears suddenly during oven ramp-up or immediately after exiting the oven. If a surface looks perfect before bake and then emerges covered in crater-like defects, micropopping is almost always the cause. Film build sensitivity also differs. Pinholing can occur even at moderate film builds if gas generation or entrapment is continuous and the film remains permeable. Micropopping shows a sharp threshold behavior, appearing abruptly once a critical film thickness is exceeded. This is why reducing DFT by even a few microns can eliminate micropopping completely while having little effect on pinholing. Solvent balance plays different roles as well. Pinholing is less sensitive to solvent speed and more influenced by air release, wetting, and film permeability. Micropopping is highly sensitive to solvent evaporation profile, especially the balance between fast solvents that cause skinning and slow-tail solvents that generate vapor pressure later. Using fast reducers in hot environments dramatically increases micropopping risk, but may have minimal impact on pinholing. Additive strategy must be defect-specific. For pinholing, air release additives and defoamers can be effective by promoting bubble coalescence and escape before film set. Wetting agents can help reduce surface tension gradients that trap gas channels. However, overdosing these additives can destabilize the film and introduce craters or edge pullback. For micropopping, additives provide almost no corrective benefit. No additive can relieve internal vapor pressure once skin formation has occurred. Attempting to fix micropopping with defoamers or flow agents often worsens surface defects. Substrate contribution is frequently underestimated. Porous substrates, sealers, or poorly cured underlying layers can release gas during bake, leading to pinholing in the topcoat. In such cases, the defect reproduces consistently in the same locations. Micropopping, in contrast, is typically more random or correlated with high build zones rather than substrate features. From an OEM troubleshooting standpoint, the first step is magnified inspection to identify whether defects are channels or craters. The second step is correlating appearance timing with flash-off and bake stages. The third step is evaluating film build distribution rather than average thickness. Only after these steps should solvent balance or additives be reviewed. Plants that skip this diagnostic logic often treat pinholing as solvent pop or micropopping as contamination, leading to ineffective countermeasures. The key takeaway is simple but critical. Pinholing is a controlled gas escape problem. Micropopping is an uncontrolled pressure rupture problem. One responds to air release, wetting, and permeability control. The other responds only to proper solvent evaporation, flash-off discipline, and thermal management. Confusing the two guarantees failure. If you're struggling to identify whether your defects are true pinholes or micropops, or if corrective actions seem to make things worse instead of better, leave your questions in the comments. In future episodes, we'll walk through real OEM defect images and plant scenarios to sharpen this diagnostic skill even further.